Hi, I'm Taylor. I'm going to show you how to replace the ink lines on the Mod 1. This printer here we're doing is a CMYK plus white. So if we're replacing the ink lines with ink still in it, the best way to do it is just to disconnect your waste tubes here, take out the USB cord in the back here, and then just take out the X and just put it on the edge of a table, sitting like this, with a trash can nearby. Okay, if you have a CMYK plus white printer, you're going to have your white lines here with the fitting. You're going to have your CMYK lines here with the fittings. Then you're going to have your Luer fittings right here. You have 4 white and CMYK. Now, if you have a dual CMYK printer, you're going to have your dual lines here and just twice as many color fittings here. The tools you need right here are a #1 screwdriver, some wire cutters, and then possibly 2 sets of pliers just in case fittings get a little tight. We have some Windex to help you out, and then we have some blue tape right here. Okay, so we're going to take out the ink bags here. I'm going to make sure that this fitting is always facing up, so when you take it out, you have just a little bit of ink sitting in there. Dispose of that there. Okay, just like that. Okay, so we took the bags off of the fittings. Now we're going to let them sit. I'm hanging a trash can here. Want them to drip out in the trash can. We want to keep this as clean as possible. Okay, next we're going to take our wire cutters here, and with our ink lines sitting, hanging in a trash can, we're going to take them and we're going to cut them right here. Can't really mess up just anywhere around here. Might have them leak just a little bit, that's fine. Just like that. Okay, next on the front of the printer, we want to take a #1 screwdriver here, and then we want to take it and we want to take out these 2 screws holding the energy chain to the carriage here. And what I do is I use one hand and I just hold the nut behind it because we don't want to lose it. And I just turn with my other hand the screwdriver. Okay, so we have both screws and nuts out of the carriage here. Okay, next we want to take our cutters again, and then with the other end snipped off, hanging the trash can, now we want to cut here. And once you cut here, then it will start leaking in the trash can. Notice that it's now leaking from the front, which is what we want here. Okay, next we're just going to move this over here in a straight line here, and then we're going to pull this slowly. Just like that. And then we're going to pull on this side here, slowly. Okay, this happens here where you have this rubber grommet coming out. That's fine. Just keep pulling it out nice and slow. Just like that. In the very end, you want to go real slow. You don't want this to spring back up and get ink everywhere. So just like that. And when you get it out here, just take the rubber grommet out. Now we can put it in. Just like that. It's easier to put in when you don't have tubes in it. These are our CMYK plus white lines. What we're going to do is just take this tape off here. Okay, so this is clearly the white. You have color here. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the white line. What we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to set it just like this. So this is our color, this is our white. The white's going to be extended. It's going to be behind it and extended, just about a ½ inch or so. We're going to take a piece of tape and we're going to put it just like this. Just wrap it around a few times. Just like this. We still have the white behind it, just extended about a ½ inch. Okay, so now before we put the new lines in, we want to take some Windex here. We just want to spray a little bit into here. Just kind of lube this up a little bit. Okay, we take our lines we just wrapped up. And again, this here is our white on the bottom. This is our color. Just nice and slow, we want to push it in just a little at a time. Okay, so we should stop about right here, about a foot or two. Then we go to the front here. I just want to make sure that we have the white now on the bottom here, and the color on the left side here. It's going to go in like this. So the white's going to be front, color is going to be back here. I'm going to come in through here. Just going to slide a little bit at a time. Just like that. And from here, we can just pull the slack back. Okay, next we need to put the 2 screws back on here. Do the same thing. I'm going to use one hand to hold the nut while I turn. Take the second one and do the same thing. Okay, next we can take off the fittings, the original color fittings here. Now what you can do is you just take your hand, you just twist it. If it's not coming off, that's where the pliers come in. Very important, if you notice that the clear fitting that's part of the damper starts to turn, what you want to do is you want to stop, retighten it, and then you want to take a set of pliers, one to hold the bottom because you don't want that to move, then the top set to turn the colored one. So these all come off pretty nice. Next, we're going to put the new fittings back on. Start with the white. And this can be hand tight, just till it stops. Just like that. Okay, so with our 2 screws tight and our fittings ready, now we can take this off here. If you keep in mind, the back should be your white for these white 4. The front should be your CMYK. So you just rip it just like that. Throw this away. Now next we're going to take our cutters here. It's very important that we have a very sharp cutters here. The point. And then in the middle of the lines here, we want to make a cut. We want to pull. And every time we make a cut and pull, we want to inspect just to make sure we didn't put a hole in the tube, which we did not here. If it makes a mark, that's fine. We just don't want to put a hole in the tube. What I do is I cut one and I pull it one at a time. The same with this side here. Now if something were to happen, let's say you, on this last one here, you made a cut by accident, all you gotta do is, you gotta find where the cut is, and you can just cut it right off. So that's fine. We have enough slack here we can work with. Okay, so before we start with the first channel, yellow here, we just want to make sure we take all the lines here, see that they're at least long enough to reach all of them, which they are. So now we're going to take the yellow, so channel 1, it's going to be the top here. Bend this back a little bit. We'll take our cutters, just kind of just as long as it's around here somewhere, we're going to cut the excess off. I'm going to put it in just like that. Don't want any crimps in the line, so you can just pull as needed, how much slack you want. So I'm going to grab the next one from magenta here and do the same thing. Cut about that much off. And when you cut, you want to try to make the cut as straight as possible so you have more of the tubing getting onto the barb as opposed to a slanted cut. Next, cyan. Okay, and again, just like this one here, the top is your first here, so that's channel 5. Just gonna pull it out. so now once we install these here, we just want to verify before we pull any ink through that we have this in the correct position. So we want to go with the yellow here. So we have the top on the front channel, followed along. Now it's the back channel. So it's this top one here. So we have the left channel here. Keep pulling. And we have it here. We have yellow, magenta, cyan, and black. And then of course, if you have dual CMYK, you want to follow that accordingly as well. Okay, so that's how to change the lines on the CMYK plus white printer. Of course, if you have a dual CMYK, you just want to follow the lines accordingly. And then from here, you just hook up the bags and put the X back onto the machine, and then pull ink through.